Good evening. If you're coming and you can read this, that means that you came on after the recording. So thank you for coming. Before we get started, I'm going to wait until everybody gets here. It won't take them but a few minutes. We have about 4 more minutes, and then we'll get started. While we're waiting, those of you who are joining live, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I have Miss Shaw here who's going to help me make sure I don't miss any of your questions. Where are you going?
I'm getting my notebook. I can write down the questions. Always unprepared.
Devin, it has been a while.
Devin!
Hello, Sarah, Melissa. All the other ones I missed, you've already gone past on the screen. Keith, I'm glad you were able to make it. Devin says hello.
I see that. Hey. You're my back.
We have troublemakers.
Children.
So we tried a little different approach. And part of it was because of the communication issues that we have every night when we're doing these live. So I have a list of questions already. It doesn't mean I'm not going to answer the questions that you ask, but these questions help us kind of stay on topic. You know what my time delay is?
About 20 seconds.
Okay, that's not bad. Well, Allison, you made it this time. That's great.
Irma, it's her first.
Irma?
It's been a while since you did a video.
The last video I did was 3 weeks ago.
Has it been 3?
Yep.
Feels like longer than that.
That's what they say. Amanda, hello to you also.
Benny.
Huh?
Benny James.
Well, Devin, if you drink it, it will disappear. That being said, I'm sorry it disappeared. Usually that's a sign that Spirit doesn't want you to use something.
Don't need it.
Bridget, I'm glad to see you're on there. So we're up to 23, 24 people. A very good turnout. I'm pleased with that. Some of you seem to fall off periodically. The video will be here. So I want to put out a disclaimer. The last time I had a video, somebody got caught watching me. So my videos are posted publicly so that the world can find me. My message isn't excluded. I don't intend to exclude my message from anyone. I also try to keep it clean enough that regardless of whatever faith or path someone walks, it's fitting and appropriate. That being said, if you are still in the closet and aren't ready for the world to know, you can leave and then come back later and see when I've posted it on YouTube, and go watch it on YouTube where nobody can see that you've watched my video. It's safer that way for you. But that being said, this will lead me into my first question. And I haven't seen her on yet, so she's going to miss it. But the first question was, what would I say is the most essential practice as one's journey through learning and implementing other workings, regardless of tradition. So to me, the number one, if I was going to name one thing that regardless of what your practice or your belief system is, it would be true to yourself. When we're true to ourselves, everything else begins to vibrate within that frequency also. So if I'm hiding who I am, and I'm a 270-pound straight man pretending to be a woman, I can't resonate the frequencies I need to be successful, because I'm trying to be something I'm not. But if I'm a 270-pound straight man acting like a 270-pound straight man, and I believe full-heartedly that that's what I am, then the world and the universe and the gods and goddesses and the Loa and the spirit, and no matter what you believe in, all of a sudden take recognition in what you are and starts treating you as such. So if you're a young witch or an old witch who's still in the closet, the best advice I can give you, open the door, step out, and be true to yourself. Because that will give you more power than any book, than any god, than anything you can imagine. Are there anybody who has any questions pertaining to that first question? Still about 20 seconds?
Roughly.
Rachel, I'm glad you're on. I've got you sitting right here. I was going to start talking to you when this is over. But I think that I'm going to answer your question tonight.
Hold on. I have hearts on the counter.
Oh.
I heard a cat. Get out.
We have bad children.
The counter.
Okay, so any questions? We're going to go ahead and move on. So the second question, how do you know when a spirit, Loa, god, or goddess is calling you to follow them? And the second part of this question is, how do you let spirit, Loa, gods, or goddesses know that you are not interested or that you are interested? So I'm probably not the best person to answer this question because of my personal beliefs. So I'll answer it as honestly as I can without crushing any toes. Find a mentor to guide you in your path based off of your beliefs, nobody else's. That being said, no being, whether from this realm or the spirit realm, is going to invest time in you unless you've invested time in them. So, or are going to invest time in them. So, my relationship with Papa Legba didn't happen because there was something that I needed. It happened because of a bond between the two of us that went back far beyond this lifespan. So for that to happen, there had to be something in place already. And that relationship is what gave him access to me now. And in turn gave me access to him now. How did I see it? He slapped me in the head. He destroyed everything in my path, put me on my knees begging for help, and then he held out his hand and said, "Here I am." So, that being said, something more powerful than you is either going to ignore you or they're going to make it obvious. But the only way they're going to show an interest in you is if you're already attached to them somehow. This is why in the Ifa philosophies, they talk about certain orishas and loas having a hold of your head. And that they talk about not all of them can. Typically, a person may have up to 3. To find that relationship, you need somebody in that practice. I'm not a hoodoo worker, so I couldn't help you identify what 3 loa are with you, but I am a spiritual worker, so I can teach you the spirit path on how you can discover that. As far as telling them you're not interested, that's like telling your mother when you're 5 that you're not going to go to bed. It's a fight you're going to lose. There's no way around it. If a spirit or an entity wants you to be part of them, for whatever reason, they didn't take an interest in you because you're nothing. They took an interest in you because you're tied together. They're not going to let you go. It doesn't work that way. Any questions about, I'm going to get into how to communicate with spirit, but is there any questions about how to discover what spirits are trying to talk to you? Find a mentor. Take that spiritual journey. And meditate. I see a lot of hearts flying by. It's always good. Any questions? There they all go.
Had a couple of pissy faces.
A couple of pissy face?
1 or 2 angry faces.
A couple of you always angry face me.
It's like, who's mad?
There goes one. Angry face. So, no questions. Is anybody even talking? So the next question is, and this is a great question. Yes, Keith, he slapped me several times. I was not a very good student when he found me. So the next question is, in a world so large and interconnected, with so many conflicting beliefs, how do you acknowledge someone's different perspective without letting it nibble holes of doubt into your own practice? So the first part is being true to yourself, right? So if you're true to yourself and you practice the way you want to practice and what you have studied and researched and focused on, then nobody anything says should be able to change that. And that's part of what the swamp is about. The swamp is about a family of unique individuals coming together and being one tribe. And it's through our individuality that we actually possess the strength to take on the world, no matter what stands in front of us. So embrace that individuality, because there may be a situation where a Satanist needs the help of a Wiccan priestess, because he can't grasp perhaps the soft tenderness, feminine quality that's needed for a specific task. He doesn't have to change his beliefs. He just has to trust in himself and in his beliefs that what she believes is different, and that's okay. It's just different. What I think is fascinating is as you begin to take a spiritual journey parallel to others taking a journey, especially when that path is different, you actually discover the similarities, and you begin to realize there's fewer differences in every person's philosophy than what is written. And it's hard to explain why that is. I have a theory that I haven't proven yet, and so I won't share it. But at the end of the day, you believe what you choose to believe. If you want to believe that the sky is green, figure out how to see that the sky is green. And it won't matter if everyone tells you that it's black because it's night or it's blue because it's day. If you choose to believe, that is your choice, and that is the premise at which everything should be built upon in your reality. Any questions about that separation? What are you laughing at over there?
I have questions, but they're going to wait till the end. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Unrelated.
Unrelated questions.
But they're good.
You want to say that you love Miss Autumn since she's telling you that she loves you?
Yes.
So we actually have a lot of people who turned out tonight. I got Gary, and Gary, I will butcher your last name. I got Miss Avy. It's been quite a turnout. You guys just kept on growing, and I'm just talking, staring at the camera. I don't even see all this going on. So the next question has to do with justice. There's a member of our swamp who's going through a really, really challenging time in her life. And this question pertains to her. So justice isn't seeking justice or having justice served actually is never considered a curse or a hex. It's actually positive working. Because all you're going to do is you're going to manifest the justice for the victim so that it doesn't matter who's at fault. The victim receives justice. Now, the victim may never see that justice, but that justice will be served, right? Because in all workings, what we do is we manifest all of our energy. We steal all the energy from around us that's in the universe. We focus it into that working, and then we wash it away. And when we wash it away, we know through our beliefs and our trust that that will be served. So justice is the same way. You feel that somebody has been treated poorly. You build a justice working around that person or that family. And you focus all of your energy, your anger, your fear, your sadness into that working. And you work over it. And that's why it's called working. You work over it until those feelings are gone. And once they're gone, you dust your hands off and you walk away, knowing that the person who is at fault will be served their punishment. Any questions about justice?
Got another cranky face.
More cranky faces.
Put your heart.
I know what it is. You guys want me to show you the justice working. You guys want me to pull out all the tools and right here in front of you show you how to do it. It's coming. I'm on her every single day. Sooner or later, she's going to be in front of the camera. And maybe like Miss Avy, so all you'll see is, right? But you'll hear her voice. Swamp University still isn't finished, but it's coming.
It's coming.
Okay? And sorry to pick on you, Miss Avy, but We love your fingers. So the next question, if there's no questions about that. The next question is, and to the person who asked it, and to the other people who may want to ask it, please do not take this answer the wrong way. How do I become spiritually powerful? How do I open my spiritual ear and eyes for me to know when the Spirit is talking to me? And also, how do I communicate with them? The person who asked the question said, of course I mean good spirits. So, I have a problem with the choice in the wording. Spiritually powerful person doesn't use the word power because it doesn't fit. Miss Avey, and I'm going to pick on you, isn't a powerful worker. She's a conjure worker. Her energies create success in what she manifests, but it doesn't make her powerful. So, I probably have Miss Avey beat by about 20, 25 years in life. So, according to the rules of power, I should be stronger than her. That's not the reality. The reality is nobody's stronger than anybody. People's beliefs are stronger than somebody else's. People's desires and how they manifest those desires can be stronger than somebody else's. But nobody possesses power over someone else. Because, well, especially when it comes to Conjure, we've got to remember that Conjure was based off the principle of self-manifestation. We generate what we want in life for ourselves. So it's not about manipulating others. It's about manipulating our own reality. So power doesn't play a part in it. How do I become a successful spiritual person? Through my belief system. I devote my life to my belief system the same way Christians devote their life to their God. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It's the easiest translation. If you live a righteous life, you will have a righteous life. If you vibrate success, you will be successful. In turn, if you loathe your life and you think that you will fail at everything you try, you will never succeed. If you fear what will come tomorrow, tomorrow will be bad. When I taught people how to ride motorcycles, one of the easiest things to explain to them, and nobody can get it. It's the easiest thing to explain to them, but nobody gets it. That bike goes where you look. So if you're driving your motorcycle next to a cliff and you keep looking off the cliff, the bike's going to go off the cliff. Because it's just physics. You turn your head and you watch that cliff, and the bike turns, and whoop, off you go. It's the same way in Conjure. I have a test I have to take in 2 weeks. If I've got a test I got to take in 2 weeks, and all I can think about is, oh my goodness, I'm going to fail this test. I'm going to fail this test. I don't know this. I'm going to fail this test. I can't do this. I'm going to fail this test. Guess what's going to happen in 2 weeks? You'll fail the test. Called self-prophesization. We create the thing that we fear the most. So if you have a test in 2 weeks, study, because Spirit requires that we do the work. But don't exhaust yourself, because that won't do you any good. Believe that Spirit has your best interests in mind. Voice to Spirit that you really want to pass this test, and you're thankful for passing the test. And then trust that Spirit will give you exactly what it is you're thankful for. So to answer your question, we don't become powerful spiritual workers. We become devoted spiritual workers. Any questions about that question?
You just all listening to us.
Look at all the love. Side people getting love.
Somebody crying.
Somebody crying?
Somebody just messing with the things at the bottom now.
All right, so the next question. Girl, you asked a lot of questions. Thank you. How about discussing protection, routine, and when performing baneful workings? So, this one's unique. Again, I'm probably not the best person unless you choose to follow a path similar to mine. I firmly believe, with both feet planted on the ground, I control every second of my future. No Loa, no God, no demon, no angel, no spirit, me. I choose what happens in the next minute, the next day, the next year. And if I can stay focused, then that is what happens. But I don't see everything. So, once a month, or about every 6 weeks, when I start to feel as though I don't have an extra set of eyes watching out for me, I do protection work. That is the only time I do protection work. Because baneful work isn't about creating something bad and sending it out. It's not a bomb, right? See, a bomb worker puts on all this heavy equipment and he sits there meticulously and he builds a bomb. And then he transports that bomb very carefully. Baneful work isn't a bomb. Baneful work is a pile of intention. So if your intention is clear, not right, clear, then it can't backfire at you. It can't blow up in your face. It's not a bomb. But that being said, make sure that you have your intentions correct. Make sure that you don't second guess your thoughts and you don't change your wording. Okay? If you want the cat to stop meowing, you have to keep the focus of the cat is not meowing. And that protects you. Okay? So, again, may not be the best answer based off of some of your beliefs. Get a mentor that believes in the same thing you believe in. Okay? Being said, if you want to be in control of the next minute of your life, PM me. I am taking on 2 more students for the first time. So you'll have to be patient. But I have no problem sharing what I know. So the next question, unless there's more questions about protection, and she shakes her head quietly.
People just listening tonight.
So the next question is, how do I find a teacher? What do I look for in one? And what do I watch out for so I don't get scammed? So this is a good one. So the first part is your teacher or mentor has to have a similar philosophy as you to begin with, or at least have what you think may be your philosophy, right? So, because you can always change paths, right? You start down this road with this person and, you don't like the way she files her nails, so you move on. But in the end, the teacher that is going to teach you your path needs to be somebody who's walking the path that you actually want to walk. So there's somebody that you want to emulate, someone you want to be like. So they're going to be older. They're going to either be older in physical age or older in knowledge. They don't necessarily have to be both. They're going to possess a level of wisdom that when they open their mouth and speak, you gain. Because there's individuals out there, insta-witches, who, after they've cracked their first book, all of a sudden think that they can share with you what they've learned as if it's theirs. First off, it's not theirs. If I open a book and I read a verse out of it, no matter how much I understand it, I can't teach that verse. It's not mine. I have to live it. I have to make it part of me. And I have to live it until I not only understand the verse, but I understand how each word in the verse fits. So that when a word is missing, I know how to change it so that it still works. It's the same way in Conjure. It's not about the parts. It's about the knowledge. Knowledge cannot be learned just out of a text. And it cannot be instant. So, even the initiated who get initiated today cannot go out and start teaching people. Being initiated just means that you've given up enough that the house that you're initiated in recognizes your commitment to learn. So now you have to learn. It has nothing to do with possessing knowledge. Okay? So, go back and with the Facebook world, go read where they were posting a year ago. Talk to their friends. Talk to their clients. Talk to their enemies. Because the people who are going to tell you the best about me actually don't like me. They're the ones that are going to tell you that I'm an asshole, that I don't know when to shut up, and I sure in the hell don't sugarcoat anything because they're mad because I told them something. But at least you know what you're getting, right? Because if that's what they think of you, then, or think of me, then you know that I'm going to be an asshole. And I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Or at least I didn't for them. How do you not get scammed? This is a hard one. First off, you've got to understand what being scammed is. So if I try to teach you, if I spend 4 to 6 months and we talk once a week, every week, and I'm giving you classes and I'm talking to you, working through the processes, but you don't get it, you can't grasp it, or you're not willing to let go of something in your past, that's not a scam. It's a failure on both our parts, but it's not a scam. It just means that you might not be good for what I'm teaching, or I might not be the right teacher for you. Now, a scam would be, hey, pay me $2,000 and I'll get you initiated into hoodoo. Oh, but I'm not a Bakor. I don't practice hoodoo. I don't know nothing about hoodoo. I'm a nobody. I read a book. So when you start asking me the crazy questions, the out and left field questions, I can't answer them. I hem and haw and I pause and I tell you I'll get back to you. Somebody who's of the caliber to be able to teach you not only has the answers, but he knows how to say the answers immediately in a way that you will learn. And our armadillo is back on the porch. So I hope that answers your question on how you pick a teacher. How do you find them? When it's time, you will find them. They will be there. If you can't find one, it's not time yet. Any questions about finding a teacher? Lots of thumbs up, a heart. No angry face. I'm good.
You're doing something wrong.
So, the next question, again, how do you write a petition? So this is really a good one. There's several theories on how to write a petition. So all I'll do is I'll answer how I write a petition. One, I rarely write a petition, but when I do really need to focus my energy because I can't find my intent, I will write one. So start off by explaining on paper what it is you want. Doesn't matter how many pages it is, just explain what you want. Then condense that to 12 words, being thankful for getting it. And that's the hard part. 12 words, no more. Preferably less. Once you've condensed it to 12 words, including making it a thankful verse, then take out anything that isn't necessarily needed, like punctuation, like adjectives. Get this effing bitch out of my life. You don't need effing, and technically you don't need bitch. Just the word her. The universe will know because of how you're vibrating who her is. Get her out of my life. Thank you for getting her out of my life. That's how you write a petition. Once you've got that, look at it, read it. Be as meticulous as you can, and is there a way that that can be turned around and those exact words be used against you? So if she's a work colleague, get her out of my life. I can lose my job. All I asked for was to get her out of my life. If the easiest way for the universe or the Loas or spirit to get her out of my life is for me to be the one that leaves, that's what spirit's going to do. So then I got to tear that up and start over. I still want her out of my life, but I want her to go find a new job. So I'm thankful that she found a new job. And I work that in my head over and over. And if I cannot find a way that that can be, those words exactly as they are, can be turned against me, that's a good petition. If the words can be turned against you, it's not a good petition. You're not done doing the awareness meditation to find the right petition for the working. Okay? Any questions or comments about writing a petition?
Miss Avie just agreed with you. She said this is so important.
Yes.
What you were just talking about.
It is most important.
Elu said I can't see or hear.
You do.
Elu's gonna be like, what the hell are you doing?
Amanda, I think most conjurers who've walked the path have learned it the hard way themselves. And it is the most critical lesson. So, 3 questions to go, and then I'll answer the questions you guys have been writing for the last 30 minutes. How about that? If any. So the next question is, and this one I've kind of answered. Different methods to talking to spirit if you're not a medium, like spirit boards. So spirit boards, for the most part, are neo-tool, a modernization of something that has been seen in old text, and it's completely misused. Okay. A spirit board was utilized by an ancient worker to demonstrate how you're able to communicate with spirit. It's not used to communicate with spirit. It's about opening your mind so that you can see the alphabet, the language, the yes, no's, the goodbyes. It's about seeing it. Once you can see it, then you can hear the answers. Okay? So, that being said, the easiest way to communicate with spirit is to sit someplace quiet with yourself. Quiet only so that you can hear the inner voices inside of you. Then filtering through all those inner voices to find your higher self's voice. Spirit will always speak the truth to you in your own voice. So, this goes right into the yes-no divination.
Mm-hmm.
So, over here.
I know you're talking.
So, if spirit will always speak the truth to you in your own voice, then that's what you'll hear. If you sit there in your awareness meditation and you're asking the universe, will I be successful in my new job? And you ask it over and over and over, and you hear nothing, and you hear nothing, and you hear nothing. And then you hear your mom say, no. You actually got the answer you wanted. Rugi wants to say hello. The Rougarou, the big giant Manx, wants attention. So, back to what I was saying. So if you're sitting in your room quietly and you're pondering over and over and over, will I be successful in my new job? And your mother's not in the room with you, but you hear your mother say, no. First off, spirit just lied to you. It wasn't your voice. Secondly, because it's a yes-no question, and no is the lie, then the correct answer is yes. So you just got your answer. And you know it to be the truth. Not because they said yes, but because the voice that told you wasn't yours. So, in turn, if you sit there pondering, and the first voice you hear is your own voice inside your head, inside your mind, tell you, no, I'm sorry, but this one isn't it. Then you have your answer. Now, you have a choice. Future is not set in stone. Future is only a chance of probability. So you can now change what you've just been told, or accept it and change the destination at which you're going. But either way, you're speaking to spirit because you're meditating. You're working on your awareness meditation and your discipline meditation. You're listening to your higher self and the universe around you. You can build an altar for an ancestor or a Loa, and you can sit there and wish to talk to them. When they speak, they will always speak in your own voice. You will hear them inside of your head. Okay? When you get into high levels of actual voodoo and hoodoo, mostly voodoo, yes, it is possible to be temporarily possessed by a spirit or Loa. This is invited, but they're still speaking in your voice. So it still doesn't matter as long as you're hearing it in your voice. It's the truth. So that answered 2 of the 3 questions. The third question was, and I summed it up because there's a couple of them. Do I use feathers, crystals, and other charms and trinkets? If so, how? So, generally speaking, I don't use charms and trinkets. That doesn't mean they can't be used. I just choose not to use them. When you prepare a charm or a trinket or a feather or a crystal, know its natural ability before you touch it. Understand, do the research to know what it can do naturally on its own. Then when you enchant it through prayer and meditation and focus, you're going to amplify its natural ability. Okay? Because at the end of the day, if that crystal cannot help in baneful work, it will never help in baneful work unless you figure out how to make it. But you have to make it within its own nature, not change its nature, because it already resonates a certain vibration that you can't change. So, if you choose to use trinkets, use them for what they're intended for, naturally. A feather is designed to provide warmth, security, flight, speed, meant to reduce sound, if it's an owl feather. Got lots of purposes, but you got to do the research to know what that purpose is. Then apply that purpose to your metaphysical conjure so that it amplifies what you're working on.
And at the end of the day, they're just tools. They're
And
props.
yes,
You don't have to have
them.
But they can help.
So, both Miss Shaw and I, for ourselves, only use the power of prayer. We don't pray to a God, but we pray to the universe. We pray to ourselves in thanks and gratitude. When we're working for ourselves, this is what we do. Because we trust in our higher selves that we will always create the right path in front of us. Okay? So, for self-manifestation, that works well. We can't do that for our clients because our clients have to have the same amount of trust and the same amount of faith that we do. So we use the tools, the curios, the candles, the oils, the powders, so that we can build from a foundation the faith that that working will manifest. But in many cases, and Miss Avey will shake her head and be mad at this, but in many cases, when a person pays Miss Avey to do a working, if that person trusts Miss Avey as much as they trust the Loa and the spirit themselves, Miss Avey over the phone can say it is done and the manifestation's over. All the other stuff she does, all the extra prayers and the anointings and the step-by-steps, that's to help you believe that it can be manifested, because she knows it can be manifested. Shaw knows it can be manifested. You're the one that has to be proven that it can be manifested. And it's through that proof, through all of those tools that we show you and guide you through that process. So, trust in yourself, trust in your workers. If you don't trust the worker, don't pay him anymore. Walk away, go find a new one. It's that simple. If it didn't manifest, it's not always their fault. Sometimes it's spirit. Sometimes it's you. If you have doubt, if you question the working, if you go to a second worker or lie to your worker, these are all things that make it impossible for your worker to be successful. Just like if you lie to yourself. If you lie to yourself, oh, I'm perfect for this job. I am a genetic engineer. By the way, I'm educated, but not that educated. If I thought I was a genetic engineer and I could create life in a petri dish, you know what I'd make? If I'm lucky, mold. So in a way, I'd be successful, right? But did I really create life? Or did life just create itself on my mess? So, thank you for listening to me ramble for the last 50 minutes. Miss Shaw, I think, has a couple of questions for me. While I'm answering those, by all means, please write in any other questions you may have.
Just a couple.
Okay.
The first one is Autumn wants to know where she can find out about the 3 meditations.
The 3 meditations. So go to Mr. Kelly, Inexplicable Things on YouTube. And I've got a video for the 3 meditations. It's a very good class. And you can always PM me and I'll walk you through them for a few days.
Sarah mentioned a couple of times, comments tonight, that she needs to send you a PM.
Okay.
So.
Sarah, by all means, you can send it. I'll always answer your PMs. So I have enough time in the day, every day, to usually talk to 5 or 6 people. So if I don't get to you today, I'll get to you. Please be patient.
Back at the very beginning when you were talking about manifesting things and how to do this and how to do that, Autumn wants to know, how do you convince a husband to let you have a cat?
How do you be thankful for it? So
imagine it already happening.
Yes, imagine that it's already done. So if you want to have a cat and your husband won't let you, first off, work on the relationship. A marriage is a partnership. Nobody should have power over the other. It should be all in agreement. Secondly, if you want a cat, envision having a cat. Be thankful for the cat. Be thankful for everything the cat does, as if you have the cat.
And Irma had 2 things.
Okay.
One of them, she wanted to know if there's a way to have a person think about you 24/7.
Yeah.
And the other one was talking about how to get justice. She needs justice with her ex-bosses.
Okay, so I covered justice already.
I know. And then she was wondering how you go about it
Okay.
for the boss.
So direct justice, again, focus your intent. If you want justice against an ex-boss, then it's you who deserves justice, not the ex-boss. So focus on your intent, focus on the manifestation, get the tools that you think are appropriate based off your 3 meditations, and work the working. If you don't feel that you're strong enough to do it yourself, reach out to many, many workers out there who enjoy doing justice work. Justice work is very rewarding for us because unlike love work, it's less complicated. Getting someone to think about you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The short and long answer and the ancient answer is all the same. Sit on his head. So, at night, physically touch him. Be close to him. Bug him. Be annoying. Be compassionate. Be pleasing. Provide pleasure. And when he leaves, make sure that something of you is stuck on his head. The old school trick was to take your pubic hair and put it inside the lining of his hat. You know, back in the day, men always wore hats. Nowadays, 50% of the population wear hats, the other 50% don't. Again, though, if you can get your body hair, especially your woman hairs, on his head, he'll think about you. Is that the only way? No, that's the easiest way. We can project our emotions if we believe hard enough and we focus long enough. So there are workings where you have to do the workings, but if you focus on being on his head in a positive way, eventually you'll be in his head. And if you believe that you're always in his head, eventually you will be. There's some exceptions to this. Love, Conjure, is the hardest because love is not an actual emotion. It's a chemical in our bodies, and it matches hate. So yes, you could put yourself in his head, but you're not going to know if it's because he loves you or because he hates you. This is the problem with love workings. They're super dangerous. They're super chaotic. Just like that petition. If there's a way for it to be wrong, it will go wrong. So make sure that you focus and figure out how to write the petition so that you're on his mind every day because he loves you. But even then, the greatest love can and will feel and may manifest hate within it. If Spirit doesn't want the two of you together, or if there's something else in the way, beyond you or him, beyond anybody. Sometimes we're just not meant to be with the people we want to be with. And the more we fight it, the longer we drown because we're busy holding on to a boulder in the back of the river instead of floating down the river happily. Any other questions?
Allison Wolf is right. Did someone thinking about you 24/7 sounds like a stalker in the making? Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Yes. Always in Conjure, be careful what you wish for. Many times it never turns out right. Never. Anything else?
That's all the questions I had.
Awesome. So, thank you for giving me an hour of your life. Miss Shawn, I love each and every one of you. I've got 23 of you still on, and I don't know how many of you will watch, but I really need you to all go to BayouBoneFest.org and buy your ticket for Bonefest 2018. Everybody's buying hotel room up. Nobody's buying tickets for the ball.
Y'all have to come to my masquerade ball.
And yes, we hope to see every single one of you at the Swamp Witches Masquerade Ball.
It's a one of a kind.
We love you. We appreciate all of you. And I hope tomorrow is a wonderful day. And as always, do it your way. Good night.